Here we go. Another Top 10 Tuesday. In today's video, me and MudanTV are looking at the Isekai genre, specifically the most overpowered MCs. We have seen many characters in their best tracksuits find themselves in a brand new world, usually by the means of truck kun, but only a handful of these characters has been overpowered as Now, before we get into the list, I just want to say that it's in no particular order. No one is ranked above or below another and is 10 of our favorites, not one who is better than another, just who we think is cool. So let's roll intro and let our guy kick off our top 10 Isekai OP MCs.
It's hard to find someone more overpowered than Ainzo's Gown. Or Momon, a character who didn't have any rivals strong enough to face him, so he had to create an alternate personality just to do it himself, thus strategically gaining the favor of humanity by appearing as a warrior who brings justice, and also gaining the favor of monsters by looking like a scary-ass skeleton. He's introduced to us as a magician, but that man can whoop anybody's ass in combat. When facing off against Shaltir, the most dangerous companion he had, who was pretty much made to exploit any weakness Ainz has, he still took her down without even using any lethal methods. Not to mention that when he wants to show off his magic, he can take on entire armies by just watching on the sidelines. And aside from summoning monsters who can rival skyscrapers, he can also pause time. But his most powerful characteristic? Resisting Albedo's huge jogs. He's a being who has surpassed man in every way and feels no remorse when getting rid of someone who doesn't serve his cause.
The Demon Lord Diablo from the series How Not to Summon a Demon Lord is not only one lucky guy who has the beautiful Rem and Shira as his slaves, but is also insanely overpowered and armed with some of the game Cross Reveries' rarest artifacts. IRL, Tokuma Sakamoto is a classic loser-type kid, but is a godlike player in the online game Cross Reverie. Takuma keeps his IRL traits of being extremely socially awkward. How he combats this is how he dons the persona of his online character, Diablo. To sum him up, basically this guy is a beast who can overpower any enemy regardless of their status, better equipment, or higher level. No one is a match for the true Demon King himself. With, of course, impressive magical abilities such as Apocalypse Abyss, Dark Bullet, and of course, White Nova. Damn, White Nova.
Can you imagine one of the first and weakest enemies you see in most RPGs to also be one of the strongest in existence? Well, look no further than Rimuru Tempest. This little ball of slime has more abilities than macros you've programmed in League of Legends. First up, he can swallow anything, and I do mean anything. From the get-go, he eats up a dragon, but not just any kind of dragon. It's a massive beast that terrorized humanity who a great warrior sealed off just because he couldn't even be killed. And this little dude just whoop, and the dragon is gone. But not only can he swallow stuff, he can also absorb the abilities through that method, thus just absorbing everyone's powers who he ever faces. And he can also store items in himself as a kind of infinite backpack, and combine stuff in there. And store dead people in there, which, okay, I guess it's a neat thing to do. And, yeah, he can also shapeshift, because of course he can.
So, the MC of an Isekai is going to be OP when it is actually included in the series title. Seiya from Cautious Hero, the hero is overpowered but overly cautious, is clearly no joke when it comes to being OP. This guy is insane, not only in the extreme power that he boasts, but even in his way of doing things. Yes, overly cautious, but this has led to moments that demonstrate his colossal power in total overkill of lower enemies, such as slimes. He of course has it where it counts, when it comes to the more powerful foes too. But this caution of his is also a strength, as he will only face an enemy if he is 100% sure that he will win. And that has left us jaw-dropped on many occasions. Seiya will prepare like none other, in which he plays out every single possible outcome in his head before he takes on a foe. He has many different powerful skills in his arsenal and is a very quick learner. I mean, the guy is that OP that even the gods are scared to death about training with this human. I mean, come on. Damn.
Toya Mochizuki from In Another World with My Smartphone is nobody special. He looks like an average school kid, but that's because he is one. Until he got killed because God made an oopsie. From that point onwards, God just bestows upon him all powers imaginable, thus creating a sort of demigod who can ruin the balance of an entire nation by just existing in it. In the magical world that he's transported into, exist 5 different types of magic. While most people can use 1 or 2, he can use all 5 of them. And while the first 4 are based on basic elements such as water, wind, fire, earth, the 5th element is based on imagination. It's called null powers, and they allow him to do anything that the writers can think of, from alchemy to portals to creating a self-loading handgun. Are we even trying to control how ridiculous the main character is at this point? No! Even the writer has stated that he didn't want to deal with the power scaling aspect of the story and wanted Toya to have every power from the start so he could just focus on writing a dang-ass Isekai story. But let's not forget that he also has a smartphone, which of course isn't a normal smartphone, but a god-tier smartphone that God personally programmed apps for, like God Maps, which has the ability to spot any enemy who's nearby and nuke their ass out of existence. I wish that was a joke, but that's just how overpowered he is.
Of the 3 MCs in Problem Children, Izuyoi Sakamaki is often thought of as the main protagonist, and this is not just because of his overall personality, but really because of how extremely OP he is. Now, this guy is that OP that nobody actually knows what his ability or gift is and have named it Code Unknown. What we do know is that Izuyoi has supernatural strength, speed, durability, stamina, resistance. He has enhanced perception. There really isn't a stat here that he lacks in. It's crazy. The list honestly keeps going as he has the ability of light manipulation, and just to make him even more OP, the gift to negate and destroy other gifts or supernatural abilities. Other than these abilities, he has the natural talents of an extremely keen intellect and is a very competent fighter when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. Izuyoi has, so much power that I would even bet I've missed something out. What makes his character interesting above most is that beneath him being the most strongest, most arrogant character, is that this guy only cares about having fun, thus his strength.
Okay, how can Nfumi be an overpowered character, you ask? He's the butt of the joke, being exiled from the kingdom and also one of the weakest heroes that was summoned. That is true, but you might be forgetting 2 things. First up, he has the Naruto syndrome, which means that he has a hidden power inside him in the form of an evil being. Using it makes him close to impossible to kill, grants him unimaginable powers, but also makes him go berserk. Thus, he excels in offense. But he's the shield hero, so he also excels in defense by having the most powerful shield that exists in any anime, the plot shield, or a more familiar name to the plot armor. Even though the anime suggests that he's the weakest member of the heroes without any good abilities, he constantly bests everyone without much effort. He won a duel against the spear hero, who's one of the strongest heroes, without even going berserk. And that's also without knowing anything about the game mechanics that the other 3 heroes knew about, without using more than 3 shields that he has in his arsenal and having the opponents cheat. Sure, you could tick this off as intellect beating brawn, but this happens constantly in every battle that he's in. His only weakness is being socially awkward and not knowing the basic facts about the game that he's in.
Now, of all the characters on this list, a 13-year-old girl wouldn't be one that comes to mind, but this one is far from that of a normal human girl. Tanya Degurachev from the series The Saga of Tanya the Evil was reincarnated from an evil Japanese salesman that challenged God, or Being X, himself. Tanya in her new life has risen through the military ranks and even earned herself the title the Devil of the Rhine. Now, as a child, she doesn't possess any physical strength, so how she has done this is through using magic enhancement spells during combat to raise her basic physical abilities. Her movement through the air has been described as a fairy dancing through the sky as she maneuvers and dodges her enemies' mana targeting spells, as her tactics involve luring her enemies into close combat to either eliminate them with her mage blade or to completely mass eliminate them with more powerful spells. So what makes her OP enough to make this list? Well, though she is at war with being X, she actually wields the power of God himself. With a simple prayer to God, her eyes turn a golden yellow and she gains supernatural abilities that are far beyond that of the normal humans she faces off against, and is capable of wiping out complete companies on her own. Though a 13-year-old girl, I ain't messing with her. Nope. Not happening.
Finally, someone overpowered who isn't the main character. Yes, this is the best lolly to thirst over since it's a 961-year-old demigoddess, Rory Mercury. There isn't even much to say about her other than she's freaking immortal. I mean, who else can beat that other than Wolverine? She doesn't age and can remain alive even after being torn into pieces. Though I guess even Wolverine didn't make it that far, so she's objectively a stronger character. She also has superhuman strength, is faster than a car, can use magic, and is highly intelligent by showing off that she can learn a foreign language without any effort. Her only minus is that she's too thirsty for that sweet old Itsumi though, so she can't be our waifu because she already has husbando. Rory, why?
Working part-time at a food restaurant, this one is arguably the most powerful character on the list. So how could a normal-looking guy, a harmless-looking guy, compete with the other powerhouses on this list? Well, Sadao Mao from The Devil is a Part-Timer is of course the devil, Satan himself, and his powers are unmatched. His true form alone looks terrifying, completely different from Mao, who has lost all of his powers as Satan while on Earth. In this true form, he strikes and commands fear into the hearts of any mere mortal. In terms of power, aside from the obvious enhanced strength, speed, endurance, and intellect, his powers include physical transformation, restoration, telekinesis, mind control, combat and unnamed magic, teleportation, force field creation, magical transference, illusion magic, including shapeshifting, and yeah, a freaking demonic sword. Damn. There we go, that was our top 10 OP MCs in Isekai. I hope you enjoyed the list. Just want to say a huge shout out to MudanTV for helping me make this list and this video in general. The guy is an absolute gentleman. And can I just say, man, his voice, sometimes I get voice envy. Mudan's, 100%. There are links in the description below where you can check out MudanTV for yourself. Highly recommend it. Fantastic, superb, beast of a channel. And don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. Come hang out with me on Discord and Twitch during the weeks. Once again, the link is in the description below, and subscribe for more anime content. So, till next time, my fellow weebs. Peace!